Today on my table is the new Laowa Argus full-frame 35mm lens f0.95.
This is a CineD review, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hi guys. So if you've been in the field of photography or filmmaking, I'm sure that you know Laowa. Laowa is really specialized in bringing unique lenses to the market, and this new one, full-frame 35mm f0.95, is no different. I've been running with this lens and I captured some images, daytime and nighttime, that I would love to share with you. But before doing so, let's talk a little bit about the dry stuff, which means some specifications. So first of all, when it comes to weight, the lens is rather heavy. I mean, it is compact, yeah, for 35mm full frame 0.95. It's really compact. It's heavy. It's 755 grams, but it's very robust. When I say robust, it means, you know, sometimes you open a package of a lens and you see that it's very plasticky. This is not the case here. It feels really, really good. But I'm also stating the weight of it because if you will aim to put the lens and a camera on a gimbal, just that you will know what you're about to face. It will get rather heavy. So let's go from the front to the back. The front thread is 72mm. Focus throw is 300 degrees. For me personally, this is a little bit too much, especially if you're running or working by yourself. When it comes to focus breathing, it's really minimal, so it's controlled well. And when it comes to f-stop, the minimum will be 0.95 and the maximum is f16. One thing which is quite important when we talk about the aperture, you have a little clutch here, and this clutch will or switch will allow you to have the aperture ring either completely smooth, like we like when we're shooting video, or with hard stops if you're doing or if you're taking some photos. When it comes to camera mounts, you have 3 different mounts. This is the one for Sony E, but you will also have for Nikon Z and Canon RF. The reason I chose to run with a Sony version is because I simply wanted to take advantage of the low light capabilities of the Sony a7S III. What can I tell you? I was not disappointed. So if you have the Sony a7S III together with this new 35mm 0.95 lens, I think the sky is the limit, or actually maybe the low light is the limit, yeah? It's really amazing what you can achieve and what you can see with this lens. Before continuing and before I forget, the minimum focus of this lens is 50 centimeters, and also this is a manual lens, manual focus lens. So if you're planning to put it on a camera and use autofocus, this is of course not possible with this one. So we are one step closer before showing some of the footage, and before this I want to say something. Of course we put the lens on our resolution chart, and it was quite obvious that if you put it on a chart which is even and you have all the data there on 0.95, a completely open f-stop, the lens is not as sharp as we would love it to be. The center is sharp, but the edges are rather soft. I think it's less evident when you work in the field. If you want to achieve edge-to-edge sharpness, you better work on f.4. Before I continue and talk about what I like about this lens, I want to highlight some limitations, and there are actually 2 major ones. Be prepared that if you point the lens into a direct light, you will have a kind of a severe colored rainbow. For some it might be a limitation, others will think, okay, this is like a creative thing, but it's there and it's very obvious. So just make sure if you point it directly into a light, and sometimes the situation is not even controllable, meaning if you shoot somebody coming with a bicycle or torch, you never know when he or she will just point, when the lens will meet this source of light. So this is one thing to take into consideration. And the other thing is, when you use aperture f16, it will not close completely the aperture. So there's always some light entering the lens. And why is this kind of a limitation? If you work with some cameras, like professional cameras, for example, the from Blackmagic Design, and you want to perform black balance, it will not be possible to do this just with the lens. You will always have to have with you the lens cap in order to make sure that no light is entering the lens and the sensor. I'm sure you're very curious to know how the bokeh looks like. You will see that the image or the bokeh is rather nice. It's rounded, it's very smooth. Only if you pixel peeping and you kind of zoom inside, you will notice that you have those onion rings. But otherwise, if you keep the picture normal as it is, I think it will be very hard to notice this. Okay, and of course I would like to talk about what I really liked about this lens. So first of all, When you have such a fast lens, sometimes you want to do is really abuse the depth of field, and that's exactly what I did. It was just purely fun to do so. So if you take the new 0.95 lens together with the Sony a7S III, I really wanted to see how well I can see at night when the lens is wide open, and also see how much grain there is and how much it's actually usable, how much the footage is usable. I was working in S-Log 3. I was able very easily to grade the footage. The grain, I think, is rather very well controlled here. And I used 5000 ISO, I used 12800, which is the other native ISO of the Sony a7S III. I used 40,000 and even 80,000 in one specific shot when I shot kind of that as a static train. The eye could not see anything. It's just really a night vision device, but a very advanced one. So because there is no direct light, no sun, no whatever, the picture gets a very, very unique look or aesthetic to it. It's very funny because it looks like kind of a daylight, but it's not. And then you see people with flashlights or fireworks. So all in all, I think it's a rather interesting images. And daytime, of course, why this is still very much valuable to use a lens like this. Personally, I really like 35mm on a full frame. I think the distance from your subjects doesn't have to be so far away. You can still maintain very close contact. And at the same time, if you work fully open with a proper Vari-ND, it's very easy to isolate the object or the person from the background. And sometimes it's just aesthetic-wise just nice, and sometimes it's a necessity, depends on what you're filming, but it's very easy to do so. So all in all, my conclusion about this lens, it's $899. It's rather heavy. It's rather small, and I like it a lot. The images are lovely, and we talk about the overall sharpness. Of course, if you shoot a chart, it's very obvious, but otherwise, in reality, when you shoot out there, I didn't feel that I had a big issue with that. Guys, of course, I thank you very much for being with us, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you, guys.